So Hewlett-Packard is still on our minds. In fact, we've concocted a guide to how not to do an M&A deal based on this botched acquisition of Autonomy. Okay, so guys, you've come up with how many, sort of 5, 6, 7?
Yeah, we got 5 with a sort of
as a start.
Go as a start. So let's go off. The first one is don't do a giant deal when there's chaos in the boardroom.
Right. So HP was in a total mess for quite a few years, right? Well, the current CEO is the 6th. Meg Whitman is the 6th CEO or acting CEO in 8 years, and so last year when that was happening, Leo Apoteca was the 5th in one fewer years. So that was a mess. The board itself was a mess. So Apoteca, who announced this deal, wasn't even there by the time it closed.
So you had a complete, it was just a mess there. And then you have don't let a venture capitalist director call the shots. I guess you're referring to Mark Andreessen.
To Mark Andreessen, yeah. His record's been bad at HP. He pushed the Palm acquisition, which was a disaster. They wrote that down.
But it was only a tenth of the size of Autonomy.
A tenth of the size, and then he pushed Autonomy, which is also even worse. Having to write down $9 billion of a.
But he scared them into this idea that the software is eating the world.
He scared them into the acquisition, and also he was one of the 4 people in charge of hiring Apoteca, and a lot of the other board members didn't even meet him.
A majority, Reuters had reported about a year ago that the majority of the board hadn't even met the CEO before they bring him in. Okay, don't pay a big premium in a hurry. That's another one.
Okay, so 64% premium this was. And it was in a hurry. HP didn't have time, even if they were allowed to, they didn't have much time to dig deep into the company's books. They had to take what they were given. Now,
so they used public financial statements.
Yeah, so it seems like if you're
do the due diligence they should have done.
If you're going to rush into a deal, at least don't pay a 64% premium, pay something more reasonable.
And also, if you're going to pay that higher premium and rely on public statements, if you do a Google search and you find lots of fund managers who have a good record of ferreting out fraud, saying don't trust
like
this company's
Tim Chanos and Kiniko. So
don't trust this company's books, you should probably take a second to either.
And then, most importantly, listen to your finance chief, right?
Yeah, when your finance chief, when your CFO goes around the new CEO and goes to the board and says, "This is this is way too. I cannot stomach this deal. Do not do this." You should probably stop and think, okay, what are we doing? Maybe we should.
She should have quit.
Well, especially since she.
Why didn't she quit when that happened?
She's been around longer. She was around longer than Apoteca, so she should have been able to carry some weight. And again, dysfunctional CEO, dysfunctional board. I'm assuming that all has a lot.
Right.
To do.
And then finally, never buy a company from Frank Quattrone.
So this is obviously a little tongue-in-cheek. Frank Quattrone's banker who founded Catalyst, this boutique and tech banker of long standing. He has a recent record of getting great prices for companies when he's acting for sellers. But the trouble is, the buyers, we can't say every case, but the buyers pretty often seem to find out after the event they paid a little too much for these companies.
Right. Well, that sounds like a good guide to what not to do when you're buying a company. And we'll be back with more Breaking Views after the Thanksgiving break.